Trish from the Cadbury Kitchen is joining me again in the everyday gourmet kitchen. I love it when you come here because we talk chocolate. Specifically today, we've got some chocolate melts. What are we cooking with the chocolate melts today?
That's right, we're making a dark chocolate soufflé.
Oh, love it.
Well, what we need to do is because it's a dark chocolate soufflé, we need to start with some dark chocolate.
Okay.
So I'm using some of the Cadbury melts. And you can see here that there's a range, there's milk, there's dark and there's white. And these are specifically formulated for melting. You'll see from the bowl they're in a special little shape, and the uniformity helps for the chocolate to melt through evenly and quickly.
We've got melts today, but you can also use the block too, can't you, for this recipe?
Yes, you certainly
if
could.
you want to.
Yep, you certainly could.
Yep. So while that's melting, should I crack some eggs for you?
Yes, please.
Yep. Okay.
That's the extra special ingredient that we need to give us light as air soufflé.
How many eggs would you like?
2, thank you.
2 eggs. So I'll just separate them in this bowl. And very important to keep the yolks away from the whites.
Otherwise they won't whip properly.
Exactly. 2. And so, I mean, this is a basis. So we're doing, obviously, a sweet soufflés, there's savoury soufflés. But the main thing is to have everything at the same temperature, isn't it? So you don't want to be putting your egg whites later on when we start whipping them into that hot chocolate, or else it's just not going to work for you.
It'll cook it off straight away.
Yeah. So while that cools down, shall I start whipping?
Yep, that's a great idea.
The eggs. Okay, so straight into a mixer. Again, like you were saying before, clean.
Yes, clean and dry.
How's that looking?
Perfect.
Perfect. So that looks really nice and silky. Now you've taken that off the heat. Look at the gloss on it.
That's right, and no grain, and it's lovely and silken when it's melted.
You can tell the difference, can't you?
Beautiful, absolutely,
really,
and
really
the flavour is fantastic.
So shall I add?
We need to add those other ingredients, that's right. So the egg yolks can go in. That chocolate's cooled down a little bit now. And the beauty of the real chocolate too is that as it cools down, it takes a little while for it to firm, so there's no worry with that seizing up in a short space of time. You can allow it to cool before it getting really thick.
And that's a nice thing, because when you're baking, you need sometimes a little bit of time. Like, oh,
absolutely.
No, put it back on the heat.
Well, sometimes things take time.
Exactly.
So the egg yolks can go in, the caster sugar. Stir that through. So this will actually become quite a thick mixture.
Just like when you're making a savoury one with the bechamel, you need a thick mixture.
A little bit of flour just to provide a little bit of extra insurance for the structure. And in here a little bit of vanilla and some masala. Delicious.
Nice flavours.
Right, what we need to do here is because we've whipped such a lot of air into that egg white, what we might do is to ensure that we hold on to it. I'm just going to stir it through here. This is called conditioning. And what it does is it softens up the mixture underneath, so in this case the chocolate mixture. And if we soften this down, by doing this at this stage, we'll make it just that little bit easier to incorporate the rest of the whites, and that way we'll retain as much air as we possibly can.
That's the perfect way to explain it.
Nice and soft. Look at that. Put the rest in now. Can I just, this is my favourite party trick. You always know when the egg whites are stiff because you can turn them upside down.
I thought you were just about to put on my head then.
I could.
A couple of people have done that to me.
But that's one way for the novice to tell if they're stiff, they won't fall out of the bowl. For this particular part of the recipe, it makes sense to use either a spatula or a metal spoon because it's got a nice cutting edge. Because you've incorporated all the air into those whites, if you start stirring furiously at this stage, you'll knock it all out. So we need to basically just fold these through and try and hold as much air in that mixture, because it's the air that's going to do all the work when it gets into the oven. So that looks pretty good. There might be a little bit of chocolate towards the bottom, but we are ready to go. So then this particular quantity is sufficient for 2, so maybe you'd like to make it for somebody that's special to you, for maybe an anniversary dinner or...
Soufflés are very romantic.
They are.
It's a romantic food. And what temperature do you put your oven on for this one?
Around about 190, so a moderately hot oven.
Right. Pop it in the oven for
Around 15 minutes or so.
15 minutes, but keep an eye on them.
That's it.
That's the main thing. Keep an eye on them and don't open the door. Right, Trish, I'm going to get them out of the oven. One
Yummy.
and two. I'm going to give that a good dust.
Perfect.
They have risen beautifully.
Aren't they beautiful?
Great chocolate souffle. Trish, you've done it again.